So I just finished watching the first episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus show, and I was thinking it was a bit of a missed opportunity with WandaVision not to review every single episode, so for this series, here we are, episode by episode review. It's gonna be fun. So, let's just dive into it. Also, spoiler alert, spoilers for the first episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Spoiling it all, this is a spoiler review. Cool, okay.
The world's upside down right now.
I'm happy to say that I was actually pleasantly surprised by the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Obviously, I was very excited for it in that I love those two characters. I love buddy dynamics. This has great show, specifically made for BHL Hudson, written all over it. But based on the trailers, I was also a bit worried it was going to be a bit generic and kind of middle of the road Marvel. Like, yeah, it's fun, but there's not much more to it. And I'm happy to say that the first episode, at least, from that, it does not seem like it's going down that path. There was a lot more interesting, compelling character stuff in this episode than I was expecting, and it had much more of a Captain America the Winter Soldier vibe to it than, Captain Marvel or Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of vibe, which I would view as the more middle-of-the-road, generic, forgettable Marvel stuff. I was hoping that it would have the Winter Soldier kind of vibe. It makes sense for, obviously, this show to have that kind of vibe. But I was, I guess, maybe a little pessimistically or cautious about it, not getting my hopes too high. But it seems to have good, compelling character stuff on top of the fun action and the fun buddy dynamic, which we didn't even get any of in this episode. No buddy dynamic, which I suppose I can forgive. But yeah, overall, loved it. So let's go through some of the notes here. Henry Jackman score. I'm pretty sure it sounded a hell of a lot like a Henry Jackman score. And Henry Jackman has done some of my favorite scores ever. So, big win for that. Also, the Winter Soldier theme creeping in there. God, that is one of the best superhero themes ever. Or super villain, super mind-controlled hero themes. It's not as catchy. But it's so haunting and, creepy, and it's perfect for that character. GSP. Yes, we got, what's his name? Batroc the Leaper. We got Batroc the Leaper again, played by, in my opinion, the greatest UFC fighter of all time, George St. Pierre. Which, by the way, was just such a weird, fun moment, because I've gotten really into UFC lately, when I discovered that Batroc the Leaper was George St. Pierre, and he's back here. And so it's very cool on two levels. One, as an MCU fan, seeing Batroc the Leaper come back is kind of a fun little connection. And then to see the GOAT, GSP, in there, that's pretty fun. I mean, not only was that also a really cool action scene, which, again, in the trailer, I thought that action scene looked a bit CGI, flying around, not amazing. It was really exciting and looked, realistic, and yeah, it was excellent in the show. Not sure how I feel about the Falcon face cam angle thing. A little bit goofy, but, it's okay. And the rest of it was awesome. And I also enjoyed the parallel to, because this episode and the show in general, I imagine, is going to draw a lot of parallels between Falcon and Captain America, to open with a very, very clearly meant to parallel the opening of the Winter Soldier with, he jumps out of the plane, he's fighting the same guy. I'm pretty sure they used the same music at a certain point as well. I thought it was interesting to draw a parallel to that character. Speaking of Steve is dead, ? I don't think so, to be honest. And this is not me saying oh yeah, Captain America's going to come back and that's how the show's going to end, WandaVision style. Doctor Strange is going to be there, No, I don't think Captain America's coming back. Maybe Old Man Steve will be in there. I doubt it. But I think the fact that they were so nonchalant about it, I think means that he's not dead. And I don't even know if that's meant to be a reveal. Maybe that's meant to be obvious, but I think this is the thing they have to tell the world, because it'd be kind of weird to say yeah, he went back in time and then he came back as an old man and now we can't tell you where he is. It's probably easier just to say he's dead. So yeah, I don't think he's actually dead yet. But maybe, I don't know. Cheadle cameo. The Cheeds shows up. Always a good thing. And also, I just enjoyed that, yeah. First of all, did we know about that? I don't really follow the rumors and, leaks as much, so maybe we did know that, but I didn't know it. I think it's very cool to see, because it's just it's one of those little details that expands this universe, where it feels like a real world. He would be there. If you're watching that and you're thinking, who would be at this celebration of Captain America in DC with all these high-ranking military people. Yeah, Rhodey would be there. I just appreciate that the MCU does that. And I enjoyed his conversation with Rhodey. Rhodey's with Falcon. And Falcon's a piece of his character arc. I don't know if it's going to be the entire, I think there are going to be a few layers to it, but the element of him struggling with taking on the mantle of Captain America, I think is going to be really interesting to explore. It was very interesting in this, and yeah, they build off that ending of Endgame where he did get the shield there, but, it's not like that kind of fairy tale ending. There are layers to how he feels about it, and I think that's going to be really interesting to develop further. And Bucky also, I think, has a lot of interesting character stuff to explore, and that's the thing, yeah. I thought this was going to be fun, simple action, a good time, nothing too crazy though, like in terms of character growth. And we're going to get the fun, crazy action, which I think is going to be awesome, and is going to be much better because of how well it seems they're going to set up these characters. But these two characters, especially Bucky, do have a ton of depth to be explored. I mean, it's such a dark story for Bucky, and we only got kind of glimpses of it in The Winter Soldier and Civil War, because those movies have, so much else going on that you can only get, a bit of it, but you can't get that much. And here, like, his scene with the therapist was, both funny, like it had funny moments, but also very interesting how he's struggling with, obviously you would struggle with all the shit that guy's been through. And now also, like, what does he do now? Like, what's his place in the world? And how he's trying to make amends and being friends with the guy who he killed his son. Like, it's very interesting. I also enjoyed his 40s sensibilities in terms of like dating and stuff. That was fun. And I also thought it was an interesting thing to contrast their opening scenes, where Bucky's is a violent, disturbing, murderous flashback, and it's dark and, very the opening of Civil War-esque, whereas Falcon's is this fun, very Marvel, like, adventure-y action scene. I think that's a good way to contrast their characters, and man, yeah, that's the thing. We've seen these characters together, but watching this episode is like, man, I can't wait for these two to meet. And I had to think, like, we've already seen them meet, but I can't wait to see more of them interacting and meeting, and especially with it won't just be fun one-liners, but also, these two character arcs interplaying with each other. That's going to be fascinating. And also getting a more personal look at Sam's life with his sister and the loan and the boat. It's a more intimate, personal look at that character's life that wouldn't have been possible without the TV show format. You can't do it justice in a movie, especially with, tens of other superheroes in it. So I'm really happy that these two are getting their own show to not just have fun buddy dynamic, but to explore their characters more. And yeah, the stuff with Sam and the boat and his family is really interesting and makes it more grounded. It brings it down to a relatable, real-world scenario that I also find interesting. I'm using the word interesting a lot this review. It's a very interesting episode. I find interesting how it shows how superhero stuff affects real-world people, and like in a more grounded way, like with loans, and how the blip would affect that. And there's also a terror group that rose up because of the blip. They want things back like it was, after the snap. That's very interesting. Interesting again. There we go. Yeah, with his sister, like having to raise two children, alone when the world descends into chaos and half the people disappear. It's a way to bring it down from, Black Panther disappearing and Falcon disappearing in this like epic scale, and Doctor Strange disappearing, to like the much more relatable, real, which we saw a bit of in WandaVision as well with Monica, to this smaller scale real world. It helps to ground it, and I thought that was very well done. Also raised an interesting question about how superheroes get paid, which I feel like they touched on a bit in Age of Ultron, where Cap's like, I can't afford a place in Brooklyn. It's something you don't really think about in this world, like with the Avengers, like, yeah, who pays them? And yeah, beyond all of this interesting character stuff, it still has fun. That opening action scene is fun. It has funny moments, and I'm sure that's going to kind of, the action, the funny moments are going to pick up a bit as it goes. So far it's quite excellent, to be honest. New Cap, before I get into my conclusion. New Captain America. Yeah, I think that's going to be, it's not going to be interesting. It's going to be fascinating to look into, yeah, how Sam feels, like, he gave away the mantle because he doesn't feel like it belongs to Steve, and now they've given it to someone else. As I'm guessing it's going to be a bit of a PR thing rather than an actual hero thing. That's the kind of vibe I've been getting from the trailers in this episode. And I'm curious to see how that plays out. It's interesting. But yeah, overall, an excellent first episode. Better than I was expecting. And I was expecting it to be good, but it had more depth than I was expecting. Yeah, I'm very excited to see the fun buddy dynamic stuff pick up as it goes, and how they're going to develop these more personal character arcs. And so far, man, WandaVision, I thought it fell off a little bit towards the end, but yeah, that was pretty fantastic. And this is pretty great so far. So these Disney Plus shows, man, it's so cool to explore the MCU in like a closer angle, and also in a new format with longer, like, again, yeah, it's movie. I haven't really talked about the effects or anything. It's like movie quality effects and cast and all that, but in the TV show format. Very cool. Really promising first episode. Can't wait for next week's. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1. Snyder Cut review is coming next week, just so you know, because I know people will be asking about that. Yeah, expect one of these hopefully every week. I can't promise that. I might miss a week and then I'll just do both of them the week after, but I'm going to try to do these every single week. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.